Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So as I promised, I said I was going to make a Demolitionist update build once I upgraded my Demolitionist tree, and I have done so. So I will show you what build I'm running. Now I'm running two variations of this build. I have two variations of the build. Sorry, you can't run two variations of the same build. I mean, I guess you can when you're not in a big issue or in a big, combat scenario. You can switch builds. Okay, so this Demolitionist build is centered around SMG, it's centered around LMG, and is centered around having a stat that many people have somehow just ignored when it comes to, builds, and that's the biohazard protection, or hazard protection, if I may say. Now, this is the first variation of the build. First variation of the build has a lot of hazard protection, if not too much, if anything. And I discovered yesterday, good thing I put this, this variation first, that hazard protection has a cap of 64%. And so I don't think you can do anything more than that. Where's my defense? So I have 64% hazard protection. So hazard protection pretty much covers you with all of your exotic damage. So it's pretty much exotic damage resilience. In the Division 1, there's something that was called exotic damage, which was burning, bleeding, any kind of damage that wasn't just a straight bullet damage. And here in the Division 2, we now have poison as well. And so that's one of the things that you have to watch out for. Now, this item is built specifically with specific brand sets that are not, on the same plane as many of the other brand sets that you will use. But I'm using Gilligard and Richard Kaiser to get a lot of hazard protection. Now, I have this Gilligard mask, and I thought, why not put it to use? Because I was running one of the invaded missions, and one of those war dogs shot me, and I just bled straight to death. I mean, yeah, sometimes they're supposed to one-shot you, but also there are some other times where some bosses will hit you, and you bleed slowly. And if you can't do anything about it, then you're just going to start bleeding to death. And so this mask has 24% hazard protection. It has 10% hazard protection as well here on insulated, which is a skill, which I'm going to go change to hard hitting. So that will just give me more damage to elites. And I'm happy to have that. So because I'm wearing two Gilligard, I have the 20% hazard protection, and then I get the benefit of the 5% armor for my unstoppable force. That's here on my Fenris chest piece, which gives me 4.5% weapon damage, gives me some critical hit damage as well for my SMG, Mr. SMG over here. I'll show you guys what that does. And then I have hard hitting, which is my damage to elite talent. And then I have a Douglas Harding holster, and I'm able to get a lot of critical hit damage here, which I want for my SMG. Not getting too much, but I'll take it. You'll see why. And hard hitting as well, which gives me more damage to elites. And then I have my Richard and Kaiser backpack, which heals like crazy because of the build and because of the talents that I'm running. Even though I have low requirements here on my electronics / utility or skill, whatever anybody calls. I know just offense, defense, I don't know what this is called. And so I'm able to heal because of these two talents, and heal very well. So that's why this build is the way it is. And you might say, oh, why don't you just run Unstoppable Force? I have an Unstoppable Force. Sorry, why don't you run On the Ropes? I have an on the Ropes variation of this, and I'll show you guys here in a bit. And then these gloves, they carry LMG damage, which is nice. I could change it to SMG damage in order to get some more SMG stuff. And if I can find a Circle of Concern holster, then I can use that to leverage more SMG damage as well, and that's not a problem. But I still need to grind to find a Circle of Concern glove that's gonna give me all of this at the same time. Now, my gloves have a talent called Obliterate. This says depleting an enemy's armor grants me 25% critical hit damage for 5 seconds. Very good talent. Now, it's situational, I know, and critical hit chance cap is about 60%, I think, or something like that. But critical hit damage, you can run as much as you want. So when I show you my stats and you see my critical hit damage, you're wondering, man, that critical hit damage is actually pretty low. Kind of, yes, I agree, but it does not take me a lot of time to peel off an NPC's armor at all, especially with the items that I have here. And, I'll show you my, this is a 20,000 damage enhanced SMG because I'm using my Demolitionist. I'm able to get an extra 15%, but when it doesn't have that, it's about 19,000 based on my other builds that I've actually put it on. And so I have more bonus armor here, which is nice to be able to help my Unstoppable Force do more damage. And I have hard hitting. Now, Unstoppable Force is a very good talent. Kill an enemy grants 2% weapon damage for every 1,000 armor that you have. You got to have a whole lot of health perks. I would like to, relinquish one health perk here and send it over here, because after about 7, I don't think you need it anymore for your patience on your knee pads. Now, why am I running hazard protection? I've been looking and thinking about the raids, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if we're going to be facing a lot of these NPCs and a lot of their different tricks for long periods of time, if you've played the Division 1, if you look at the incursions, they're like mini versions of raids. And if you look at Dragon's Nest, where you're going to be in a burning situation a lot, and all the bad guys you're fighting are cleaners, they burn a lot. If you think about the Outcasts, one of the things that the Outcasts do is they deal in poison and all kinds of fun exotic damage. Even the Black Tusks sometimes would throw out some poison there as well. And so when you think about these things and think about the duration of a raid, which is supposed to be something that would take a longer period of time, it's a longer mission structure, and it's supposed to be a little bit more difficult. I think that's where we're going to start seeing a lot more variation in our builds. And so if you think about how much hazard protection is even available in the game, Return Kaiser gives you 10%, Gilligard gives you 20%, also Murakami gives you 10%. When you put on 2 Murakami items, you get another 10% hazard protection. So if you don't get the memo by now that hazard protection is probably going to come in handy, and this is just my opinion, then you need to just hold off with your build and then see how much Return Kaiser and Gilligard are going to become very, very valuable as we go on. Because the amounts of damage that you see, the amounts of exotic damage that we have, I think the NPCs are going to be using them a lot more in the raids. Maybe not, but I think it'll keep things interesting if they did. And so I'm just foolproofing myself. And if not, then sure, I'll just run my other version of it, which is what I call which is my Demolitionist 1.0 that I actually enjoy running anyways. And so this one does a lot more damage. It hits a lot harder than the other one. If you were wondering how much, let's just go back to the other one and just look at stats and see things on damage. So weapon damage is 20k. My SMG is 17.5. Crit chance 47. Crit damage, plus if I get a little bit more from Obliterate, then it will add 25 to this, which makes it really, really good. And then weapon handling bonus, LMG, and all that stuff is all there. And I have 70% damage to elites, even on this so-called hazard protection. I call it a biohazard suit. And so it's actually pretty good. It's got everything. It's got my healing. It's got, it's got damage. It's got the whole thing. It hits really hard. And I was playing with it the other day, and one of the NPCs hit me with like a bleed thing, and it literally did not even hurt. I mean, it literally just almost disappeared, and I just healed. Once I healed, I was good. So think about a build like that. I mean, everyone's worried about how there's not a lot of skill power and electronics for you to make a full-on healer build, but you can make a full-on self-sustained build that really, really comes in handy and helps you. I have Sadist here. I need to go roll this nonsense off. To get an NPC to bleed is very, very hard. Now, if I was maybe running like ongoing directive, maybe pull it out and kill him, but whatever. Nah, I'm not worried about this. And then I have weapon handling and Zen, but if I can get a better one, I'll take it. But this base damage is just attractive enough for me to be able to say, okay, I'm going to kind of turn a blind eye at the very underwhelming group of talents that I have on this SMG for now, or I'll run one of my other SMGs. But let's look at the other variation as well, and then we'll see what the difference is for this loadout. So this is Demolitionist 1.0. Now this one, I like this one. I like this build because this one shreds. I use my M249, which has ignited, and I like ignited regardless of what anybody says. I like this talent a lot because you can get NPCs on fire a lot. I mean, I know it's situational, but if you take a chem launcher, fire starter, that's all you need. You don't need your fire starter to be doing a whole bunch of damage. You get to do the damage yourself. And in certain missions where you have choke points like the Roosevelt Island, it will come in so handy because there's so many choke points there where you just put them in a corner and they're just all running through this funnel, and they're burning and you're just dealing a lot of damage. That is a very good scenario to have it. So this is not a wasted talent. Then it has Allegro and then has Recharged. And Recharge says, well, while equipped, skills deployed at full armor have 25% duration and charges and ammo and all that good stuff. So that's pretty nice to have. And I know I'm running a talent like that when I have on the ropes, but forgive me. And then this weapon is just underwhelming. I need to get a better variation. And I did get a better weapon yesterday, which is this SMG vector, which I'm just watching to see if I can get a better talent to put on there that will fit in my build. And so that's something that I'm watching for. And I also got this Police TA21 as well that has, well, this is my Police TA21. What am I talking about? Okay, now my backpack, I have Giller Guard, which I'm taking 2 Giller Guard again to get some more hazard protection. So this is not without hazard protection, by the way. I wanted hazard protection. I skipped over all the other backpacks I could have gotten. And I wish I got a Richard Kaiser one, actually. That would have really been nice if I could get a Richard Kaiser one. But hey, whatever. I got a Richard Kaiser backpack, and so this gives me total armor. It gives me a bunch of health bonuses, a bunch of armor, which is nice for my unstoppable force over here. And my mask is a Circle of Concern mask. Gives me damage to elites here and hard hitting, and I get an extra 10% SMG damage. So if I get a good SMG, I'm gonna hit faster. Right now, this is hitting hard by itself, but once I spec that other SMG, that tactical vector, with the extra 1000 base damage, oh, that's the end, man. That's the end. And then my Fenris chest piece, weapon damage, crit damage as well, and then unstoppable force and damage to elites. And then here I have crit chance for surgical. I would rather have damage to elites on here, but I'm still kind of iffy. I don't want to roll my items yet because I feel like I'm probably going to get a better one with higher armor, maybe another gear score one, whatever. And then my Fenris knee pads. Fenris is nice to run for knee pads because you can get 2 talents on them. You have hard hitting and you have patience. Now, I have so much Fenris, it makes, it's like, man, why aren't you just running an assault rifle? And true, I literally just swap my, I can literally just swap my specialization to my survivalist and then just switch to assault rifles, which I will make a build video of and tell you why I'm doing that. Here down the road. And so let's look at some stats as we're going as well. So because it's an SMG type build, if you look at my SMG, let me make my SMG weapon number 1 so that we are not confused as to what's going on here. So stats, SMG damage is about 8,000, 22% crit chance, 41% crit damage, plus I'm counting on obliterate. I really am. But and as funny as it sounds, you may think, well, how fast do you peel off the NPC's armor to be able to get that talent to work? Pretty fast. I'll show you here in a little bit. A lot of damage bonuses I'm getting here, and then 77% damage to elites. This thing hits very hard, and I know I can get more damage to elites, no doubt about that. And it's more of a, okay, should I do damage to elites or should I go for the critical hit chance? And it's very hard to put it together, but that critical hit chance is actually really nice. At 22%, that's not high, but that's good enough in order for me to do whatever it is I want to do. So whether or not I peel off the armor fast, now look, the armor is gone, and I can just take them down with ease. And yeah, I could use my other SMG and that would do a better job, or I can use another SMG once I get that spec, and that will do a better job as well. But if you look at this just does a good job. They're gone. 38 bullets left in the bank. Let me see. Out of 52 for an SMG, they come close. I mean, even at a good distance, this thing is doing some real serious damage from a good distance. So even with optimal range for an SMG like this thing hits as good as some assault rifles on a lower gear score. And so I'm really enjoying this variation of the build. All I do is just change weapons out and I get on the ropes. Oh my gosh, you should see when on the ropes procs with this thing. I mean, right now you're looking at the damage and thinking, did I say obliterate? No, obliterate is not on this. But when on the ropes procs with this thing, it is deadly. It is crazy. So these are the 2 variations of my build. If you have any build ideas, if you have any ways that I can improve this build, please let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions, also leave them in the comment section as well. I'll be running around reading comments and I'll be trying to answer questions as much as I can. And thank you guys once again for your time and audience. I appreciate you so much for watching these videos and leaving feedback. You guys really make this whole YouTube journey a very pleasant one. So once again, I say thank you very much, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace.